name is Cindy Bear, and I'm actually the event specialist for Canon Burbank. So I just really quickly wanted to tell you about Canon Burbank. If you're in the Los Angeles area, this is available to you. So we are a community hub for filmmakers and photographers, and we do all kinds of great events like the ones you're going to see here at Sundance this week and here at our space. So besides presentations and panels and workshops, we also do screenings of projects that are shot on Canon. And you can also come in for a personal demo. So if there's equipment you wanted to check out and you didn't know if you wanted to get it yet, come make it an appointment and we'll show it to you individually, which is really cool. Or if you have an idea for an event, you can come pitch it to me. Maybe it's something we'll want to do at the space. We have postcards back there if you want to grab one, and there's a QR code if you want to get notified of the free events when we have them. So without further ado, now onto our amazing panel with our moderator, Jay Holben from American Cinematographer magazine. Take it away, Jay.
Thank you for those wonderful applause. You can do it again. There it is. I'll take that all day long. As Cindy said, my name is Jay Holben. I am an associate member of the American Society of Cinematographers, and I am the contributing technical editor for American Cinematographer magazine. And as part of American Cinematographer and Canon, we want to welcome you to this extraordinary panel with this unruly bunch of wonderful beings here. We're going to have some fun talking today about the business of the career of the cinematographer. And I have newly minted ASC member here, Mr. Fresh off the presses, Mr. Eric Branco. Good to see you, sir. The editor-in-chief of American Cinematographer magazine, Mr. Stephen Pizzello. Representing the PR world, the lovely Ranjinder Haas. And representing the agent world, by the way, where's my call? You owe me a call. Mr. Brian Goldberg at the end of the panel there. Okay, so my career is in the dumps. What the hell do I do? Let's start with that, because this is really a therapy session for me. That's what we're going to do, okay?
What do you need? An agent, publicist, what do you need?
I need it all. I need an agent, publicist, and can we get some coverage and the next DP to shoot something? Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, start off with Brian, I guess. That'll be the place to start, right?
Right.
Get yourself an agent,
Are you signing anybody right now? No, let's start with the question of when in your career is it time to get an agent? How do you know?
I call you. Honestly, I'm on email all day. I'm looking at trailers. I'm looking at films. I'm here scouting people as well. So for me, I see something amazing and I want to reach out to you and let the agent call you, because the fact is sometimes people get representation too early in their career and that could hurt you. So to me, you're at Sundance. You're here with the coolest of all people. You're in the in crowd right now. Agents are here. People are here. Build relationships. I find clients when the time is right. And sometimes, actually, one of my first clients I signed was at Sundance 2009 or 2010, and we built a relationship. We built a friendship. And then I called him up one day. I said, "You're in Montreal, right?" He's like, yeah, I'm in Montreal. I'm like, "I got a project in Toronto called Hannibal." It was a TV series, and this was Kareem Hussein. And I'm like, "You would be absolutely perfect for this job." Put him up for the job. He got the job. Became a client. We've been working together now for 15 years. So, you never want to get representation too early. It could hurt you, it could hinder you. But I think it's really important to have trust with your representation, because we're all growing in our own careers, and every career is different. I'm a twin, and I will tell that. My parents compare me and my twin brother all the time. Can't do that. Everybody has a different career. So for me, I see something that's amazing. You're going to hear from me. I'm going to be like, I'm either going to text you, I'm going to WhatsApp you, I'm going to find you on Instagram. Instagram's a great tool right now. You're able to do tags, you're able to tag different people, you're able to share stuff with people. I want to see stuff before it's out. I love sharing stuff before it's out. So to me, it's building a relationship with reps, so when the time is right, the time is right.
What do you mean by it can hurt you and hinder you? In what way?
I've seen people get representation, managers, agents, and they're being pitched for union jobs, but they maybe only have short films. And that happens. That's okay. But the fact is that producer who's being pitched to you, and maybe at the time is not right now, maybe it's going to be right in 2 years, 3 years from now, they're going to remember you from doing the shorts. So to me, it's really about how do you get general meetings? How do you build relationships with these people? Because they're going to want to help you grow. Maybe it's not going to be for a first unit job, but maybe you get on the camera team. You're able to see how it all works if you've never worked on a giant set. I'm a big believer being on set is where you want to be. Like, that's watching everything, that's building relationships, right place, right time. Sometimes it's, I'm not excited about a project, but I'm going to take this meeting, and then somebody's going to tell you a little bit their spin on the project, and then you're all in. This is somebody you want to bet your cards on and your horses on because you think their career is going to go. And sometimes you do the favor job that leads to the really interesting job. And while you're starting your career, you got to build a reel. In the beginning, you're going to be putting pretty much everything on your reel because you just want to show your diversity with what you could shoot. I do think as the reel gets a little bit more and you continue to shoot a little bit more, you should be a little bit more particular with what you want because to some extent, your reel is going to show people some variety, some things that maybe you're not the most proud of, but maybe it had a star on it. It's the first big celebrity that you had. But there are ways of curating a reel that I do with my clients and publicists do as well all the time where it's pitching for the job that you want. It's not pitching for everything. But meeting people, talk to your friends who have reps. Do you like your agents? I know people that are like, I don't like my agent. I like you, Brian. Will you represent me? Like it's a big thing. Like
that's your public face. And it's like they not only have to like you, but they have to like your agent. And a lot of it is, unfortunately, there's a lot of personality based. You can be the most talented person in the world. Oh, it's not working?
that was not working.
Yeah, I mean, you can be the most talented person in the world, but if they don't like you for some reason,
you're not getting a phone call.
Or if they don't like your
they'll call you
representation.
directly and go around your agent. I don't know. For me, I want to be able to pitch on every project. I want everybody to love me. Like literally, it's so funny because I actually met up with a producer on day 2 here, and we were dealing with actually a severance negotiation for somebody who was just let go of a project. But I wanted to do face to face. He now knows me as a person. He also knows me as a sales agent as well. So to me, it's getting my own brand out there as well as with the agency WPA's brand out there, supporting the clients and supporting my colleagues.
We just dove into the deep end, and I love it. We didn't even start with any small talk or any of the little things, but
We've got an hour, you know.
yeah, right? Exactly. Not waste anything. So let me throw out the idea, Brian, I'm going to continue to stick with you, because there's a notion that, okay, I am so talented, I should be out working, but I'm not getting the jobs. I have to get an agent so that I can get the jobs. And that's really that's a mistake, right?
It really depends. Because there are sometimes actually when I deal with international projects and they're like, oh, we don't want to deal with agents, we just want to deal with you directly. So it really depends as the world becomes a lot smaller. I deal with people all around the world. I was out with one of my Australians yesterday. I'm in South Africa every once in a while as well. Like, you also have to understand how the different productions do work within different countries. But to me, it's really, there are times, I have a friend in the audience where he's Greek. There was a TV show shooting in Greece. I reached out to the line producer, say, hey, I have a friend that's there. You just get to know them, know each other. Like, you just never know sometimes. So maybe that was a meeting for a potential project in the future, or you're on a show and they're like, okay, I need somebody second unit. I just met this great person. I'm a big believer that you have to have as many general meetings as possible and know as many people as possible, because in this industry, it's really interesting that every once in a while, somebody gets a call from their friend. Hey, I just lost my DP. Who do you like? And they're going to say, this was my mentee, or I'm available. Like, to me, it's really all about the communication. And in our industry, this stuff moves fast. You have to be on your phone. My job is to be on my phone and my email pretty much almost 24/7 because I have to be responsive. But that also builds the trust between me and the producer, so they could call me when they're in a problem and saying, this is what we have, this is the problem. But it's also a very interesting time in the industry as, well, it's truncating, we could talk about that later, but also the diversity aspect of it also. Like, I've gotten some great opportunities for clients, and I just also want to make sure when they take that job, they're prepared to succeed. You're doing your first big TV show in New York. You've never done a big TV show. You can go shadow these other DPs to see how the sets run. You're going to be up there, and you're going to learn how to talk, and you're going to make sure that you're going to succeed. I do the same thing with my other clients that are in other department head crafts, as well as some of my directors for their first directing assignments. Shadowing, it's very important. To me, as an up-and-coming DP, you want to be on set. You want to be shooting. You want to continue to be shooting. You want to share your stuff that you're really, really proud about. And if there's something that it also depends on how you're going to be coming up. Some DPs come out of working in television up through those ranks. Some come out of commercials, come out of documentaries, come out of indie, go to the studio films. There's so many different ways to get into this industry, and a lot of people nowadays, I'm sure we could talk about it too, are the vertical series. People are starting to shoot these vertical series that I think some more in the future will be much more cinematic. But in the beginning, it's also, you want to get paid to do the job that you love, and then you also want to then also create a path to do more stuff that's in your best interest. And sometimes I've had clients that suggest jobs and they're like, I'll do it, but can I use my other credited name? Because I didn't want that to be to my specific IMDb. And these are hard conversations I have with producers, but I'm trying to make sure that my clients' careers that are continuing going up this way, as well as if they're plateaued, working on really cool stuff and meeting the next generation of people. And that's what Sundance is about. It's the next generation. I have so many clients that have had projects here that are shooting, that have won Emmys, that are shooting studio films. And this is where you want to build your relationships. You want to grow with your teams here. Because the last thing you want to do is get an independent film here, your director blows up and they can't bring you. That's terrible. Like, they made this amazing piece of art that was so successful. So it's keeping relationships strong, building relationships. And to me, it's making sure you have so many people in your corner, because this is not an easy career.
Yeah, it's hard to do it by yourself, and I think people underestimate how important these intangibles are. It's like, you have to project positive energy. That's really important, because nobody wants to sit next to somebody who's Dan or Debbie Downer for days, weeks, or months on a project. The personality has a lot to do with it, and some of the directors might be insecure. You have to be their shrink. You have to give them positive energy. You might have to give them the confidence that they need if they're just starting out. And there's also the being good in the room factor. If you have meetings, if you're not used to taking meetings or speaking in public, you better learn how, because if you can't sell yourself or your ideas, nothing else you do may matter. You have to be able to convince people that your approach is right, and
You could be super talented, but then you could be the biggest jerk on set, and that's what people are going to know.
Oh yeah, that's death. Yeah,
that's that. Or say that you're on a job and you're in a small community and you get let go from it. Everybody in town's going to know about that. Like, to me, and then that's how you spin, or you get your next job ready to go. It was a timing thing. We had another project. I agent and she does PR. So like, we work very, very close together because we share clients. And there are certain times I'm like, okay, it's now time, Oscar push, Sundance push, Emmys, Spirit Awards. It's time to add a publicist to this, and also training actually how to talk in front of people, because I don't love doing this, guys. Like, I'm behind the camera, I'm behind the scenes on the phone, rolling calls and talking to people all the time. But I'm working, these are some of the best people in the business, so you're very, very blessed to be on this panel with these people.
Well, also, in terms of promoting yourself, that's great, but you don't want to overdo it either, because, if you go overboard and you're in everybody's face all the time, you may get dismissed as a pain in the ass, or, you're viewed as being a shameless self-promoter. You don't want to seem like you're on somebody's front porch selling solar energy or a weird religion. If you're following people around all the time, and, it's hard to recover from that. Once they have you in their brain as an annoyance, you have to know how to calibrate your promotion, and that's why people like Ranjinder are helpful, because they can help you calibrate how much do I need, when do I need it, when should I back off, when am I ready for it, and I don't know if you want to speak to that.
Being a resource.
I think, so we usually do the dirty work. So we are the bad people, the bad cops for you. We are the ones who are going to chase people like him. Like, hey, we have a DP. Please feature him or her on your magazine. Please do this. So, you still look cool, and the rock star you are. Like what Brian was saying, that we, agents and us, the PR people, we really work together. So sometimes DPs come to us, like all the green DPs or the student DPs, and they don't know how the whole ecosystem works. They will be like, oh, PR, like, what can you do? Can you get me a job? And my first question is always, do you even have an agent? So do you have a feature? Okay, if no agent, but do you have like a feature that's coming up, or it's going to Sundance or any other film festival? And then they'll be like, no, I don't have an agent and I'm looking for one. And then we actually will refer him or her to people like Brian. So that's how it starts. So we can only do so much. Like, the PR starts much later. Like, you need to have something to push. whether it's for the awards or whether it's for the festivals, or you just want to uplift your brand. So yeah, that's where PR comes in the whole system.
Yeah, and those choices are always careful. You have to be careful about the choices. That's meet with the person. If they seem, you have to read people. If they're going to get a positive reaction, like somebody like Ranjinder, good. Or introduce them to a trusted friend who's good with people skills. Say like, do you think this person is going to represent me well? It's really an important choice. I don't know what your experience has been with that, but you've gone through the whole. Your arc is like the perfect arc, where it's like indie guy. 10 cinematographers to watch, Rising Star.
Hopefully it's not arcing. Hopefully it's still...
You're on this side of the slope, but he's gone through these steps, and you've had like a good path. So I don't know. Maybe you want to share your progression and the stuff we've been talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I came up shooting indie narratives, a lot of short films, and then moved into features. I didn't really have any guidance. I wasn't repped. I didn't have a publicist. I was just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what stuck. And I had a short film here I had a feature here in 2012 called VHS that I couldn't afford to come to the festival. But I was like, doesn't matter, my life has changed. I have a feature in Sundance, and nothing happened. And so I had a short in 2017 here, and I came, and I was like, I'm going to be there, I'm going to meet people, and my life is going to change, and nothing changed. And so finally, I had a feature in Sundance in 2019, and at that point, I was like, still wasn't repped, and I was like, I'm going to hire a publicist, and I'm really going to use this week here to really, really hit the ground running, meet as many people as I can. I met agents, I met, other directors, other filmmakers, other cinematographers. And I mean that, I think having someone kind of curate your experience and your face time with people in the industry or in a kind of concentrated space and time was invaluable for my career, for sure.
What was the feature in particular that you,
in 2019, it was a feature called Clemency. Which was here, and then it won the grand jury prize here. So it was kind of like the perfect storm of, I'd been kind of pushing myself with my publicist. Then, so, people were like, oh yeah, that movie, Clemency. And then it won, and then, everything kind of flipped from there. That was finally the one where it hit, and after that I got repped. As a AC Rising Star, the next spring. I was a Variety 10 to Watch DP the next spring. So it was like, it felt like coming here and putting that work in to kind of be in the right rooms, meeting the right people, with the help of a publicist really, really, really was key in that, in all of those things happening.
Yeah, we will find you if you're here, because we have a whole team of people splitting up screenings, and we see dozens of films every year. We'll notice, if you have something that, it's easy when it wins a jury prize, but sometimes we'll see something that isn't nominated for a prize, and you can tell right off the bat, this one's got it. We have to put them on the radar and, keep them in mind for coverage later on, And like the stuff like the Rising Stars, you can't really campaign for it. It's sort of discouraged. We have a secret committee of ASC people in the magazine, and we all conspire together to pick the ones that we think are going to break out. And we've had a pretty good track record. Like a lot of them have become ASC and shooting really big things like Kira Kelly and people like that. But we're here on the ground to scout, and it doesn't help your cause if you start campaigning for it, because we'll find you, and we have to run it by the ASC people too, to make sure that the work passes muster. We have good eyes, but we're not professionals, so they'll look for different things than we would,
There's a common theme among what all of you are saying, which is basically to move up, you need that trigger, right? You need that film at Sundance. You need that feature that is in the top 10 at Netflix. You need that one thing for a rep to hang their hat on, whether it's PR or agent or what the magazine's going to cover or getting yourself noticed. Would you all agree with that, or do you think that you could help?
For the magazines, the question I get most of is, how do I get an article in American Cinematographer? And I will be honest, it is not easy, because we have to service our ASC members as well. You're up against Roger Deakins, you're up against Chivo, you're up against Lowell Crawley, people like that who are really, really good. We have slots that can be free, but you can help yourself out before you get the agent and all of that stuff. If you want to pitch us on something, first of all, make sure it's good. Because I get sent tons of links all the time, and if it doesn't grab me within the first couple minutes, I'm hitting exit, and I've got 40 more to watch. So don't just send us something that you think is, the world-beating short. It has to be, credibly good, and that you can help your cause if you're shooting a project by, take good notes while you're shooting it. Take some BTS photos, because indie things don't usually have a photographer around sometimes. Like, get all the materials together, get some diagrams, stuff. If you come to me and say, oh, I shot this really interesting thing, we did shots from a bike or whatever, and it has a lot of cool footage in it. I'm like, well, do you have any photos? Do you have any? If you give me the whole package and make our life easy, you'll be surprised at what you can get. Like, it's a full package, we're ready to go, so that helps. Otherwise, sometimes we get pitched on people that don't have any photos, and they're not really ready for the close-up yet. But if you make the editors' lives easy and give us the materials, you've got at least a 50% better chance of getting something,
The other big issue there that a lot of people don't understand is the timeline. We have a 2-month editorial lead, so we need to know about your film and the release date at least 3 to 4 months ahead of time to even consider slotting it in somewhere.
Well, and if it's award season issues like November, December, January, it's got to be at least 5 or 6 months in advance. But online, it's easier. Like, say you really want to do something, you did an internship project. If you can write and write well, I emphasize well, we might let you write an article about your own project, but don't send us a pitch that has bad grammar, syntax, and spelling errors all over, because then I won't have the confidence to say, okay, we write this up. If you're just creating work for us, we wouldn't do it, but we do let people write their own projects up, and we can do that on a shorter turnaround, because it's on the web, So, but for the magazine, yeah, we need lead time, for sure.
It's being as professional as possible. Like, I think that's with everything. Like, I'm looking at reels, like, I don't want to see a 10-minute reel. Like, show me the best thing that you have up front, or even like, reels have changed over time. At one point, it was like more of a montage, etc. To me, it's about, okay, recognizable faces. Are these projects that I've heard of? Maybe it's not a project that's really, really in the limelight just yet, but is it something that will pop at one point? To me, it's getting excited. I'm a filmmaker myself as an agent. No, I'm not on set 14, 15, 16 hours a day as a cinematographer, but to me, my giving back is doing these types of talks and meeting the next generation, watching people grow with their time. I think for anybody, you're all going to be, we always talk about this, like you're a brand, like you're a brand, this is who you're going to be, this is the type of stuff you want to shoot. Maybe in the future you want to go to direct a little bit more, become a producing director, whatever. It's discussing with the team, publicists, agents, some people have managers too, but it's being on the same page with everybody and coming up with an actual plan, because I meet with people all the time, like, I want to shoot this $100 million movie and these are my shorts or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, I understand what you want to do, but let's come up with an actual strategy to get you in the room with some of these people so that this is actually truth and happening in the future, versus I'm not going to say yes to everybody. Oh yeah, I can make that happen. I'm not one of those type of agents. I like to strategize with clients. I like to talk to clients and help build the clients and get them in the room. Like, my favorite thing is finding something that I know, when I know people's personal lives, and that's how I try to get so close with my clients. I could call them, I said, I just got a script, you're gonna love it, this is what it's gonna be about, and let me know when you're free to read it and talk about it. So to me, I read pretty much everything that my clients will meet on. I think that's very important to be able to discuss that type of stuff, especially when there's overlap, and at most time people have multiple projects at once, so choosing what's the best thing for the career. And sometimes, as an agent, sure, I want everybody to make as much money as possible, but sometimes that little independent project is gonna take you to your next trajectory, and I'm gonna say, that's what we're gonna do.
I just want to touch base on the lead time again. It's a pity sometimes, like we have, big or small, doesn't matter what kind of DPs. They come to us like 2 or 3 weeks before the premiere date and go like, PR, how can you help me? And we'll be like, okay, we can do only so much. Like, we can do what's happening for the red carpet or short lead media or like online media. But if you want like the big media, like the ASC magazine or like other, printed magazines, like, you have to come and let us know. As soon as you know you have a release date, you speak to your agent, like, who's the best PR out there, and then we can help you. And then we can speak to, people like the media and Steve, that, hey, we have this project, what you can do. But like 2-3 weeks, there's nothing we can do. Seriously, I mean, not nothing. We can, but it's just a bit.
I think you should mention your Train Dreams example. Because
yes,
that's the perfect example.
Yes. Oh my God.
A film that started here, went all the way up to the Oscars, and it's like people approached me. I didn't see it here. And,
yes.
they all let me know, you got to see this film, and they
Yeah.
set up a screening just for me, and I'm like, okay, I'm coming, and then I look at it, I'm like, oh yeah, we better do this.
Yeah.
You know, so
So that's like
I had a lot of lead time as the, you know.
Like literally. So, a year ago, exactly, Train Dreams became like the most talked about film at Sundance. Shot by the amazing cinematographer from Brazil, Adolfo Veloso. He lives in Portugal, but yeah, he's like the favorite now to hopefully win the Oscars. Yeah, like, it was like a whole year process. It was a marathon, literally. And the fact that Netflix bought the film immediately after Sundance, that too helped a lot. And it's just not PR. We also do need a lot of support from the studios. Whoever buys the film, they really need to work hand in hand with us, the PR people, in how we can like propel the name, your work, the craft. Yeah. So.
Eric, for you, you said basically your third project that got into Sundance was the one that kind of turned things around for you. How did you connect with the filmmakers that brought those projects here, and how are you connecting with the directors on stuff that you're doing now?
Trying to think. One of the short I had in 2017, I was on a panel at a festival called Black Star, and the director was in the audience. And so if just saying. But after that panel, this director named Marshall Tyler came up to me. He was like, "I'm doing this short. The way you spoke about your work was beautiful. Let's keep talking." And about 6 months later, I shot this short called Night Shift, which premiered here in 2017. And then kind of went on the Sundance does a tour of short films. After the festival was over, they do like a nationwide tour, and so that was one of the films that went on the tour. And did really well for him, did really well for me. The movie Clemency, I met the director because she was friends with someone I went to high school with. And she was talking to my friend, the director was talking to my friend, and she was like, coincidentally, yeah, I know this DP, you guys should meet. We did a short together, we did 2 shorts together, worked really well together, and then, Clemency was like a multi-year, it was like a 5-year process to get that film made. So when it was one of the indie films, raise financing and then lose financing immediately, and that happens cyclical, it's a cyclical process for like 3-4 years on every indie. And we stayed in touch, and finally the movie went. But yeah, it was a connection through a friend. And then I had a movie here in 2020 as well. That was, again, we had known each other just from, festivals and being, the director and I, Rada Blank, we had met at Sundance, I think the year prior. We'd met at a couple other festivals. So it's, it really is about just being a known quantity, and then being a known quantity, I'm working with a director now, who I love, this guy, Oz Rodriguez. We're doing a show, and he's like, my number one quality in a DP, you got to be a good hang. Like, if you're a great DP and a bad hang, it's not going to happen. And so, it's about, you literally are, when you're on set, we see our coworkers on set more than we see our families, more than, And so it really is, you need to, if you're going to jump in with somebody on a years-long process of making a film, you really need to have a tight connection.
Well, the other thing about that is like my perfect example of a person who I knew was going to succeed was Maddie Libatique. He had Pi here years ago. I saw the movie. I'm like, Jesus, who is this guy? We have to cover this immediately. And then I met him, and Maddie always shows up looking like he's ready for a shoot with Annie Leibovitz going to Vanity Fair. Okay, so I'm not saying you have to change your whole fashion sense, but the guy was presentable. He was super cool. You'd probably make any director feel 50% hipper just by standing in proximity to them, But the style isn't the whole thing. Like, once I started talking to him, I'm like, Jesus, this guy really knows his shit. He knew how to talk aesthetics. He had a real background in art history and everything. I'm like, he knew the tech. I'm like, this guy's gonna make it. He's, like I say, good hang. Although crazy hang, but but good hang definitely helps, But so that is another consideration. Is like your personal style you're in an aesthetically oriented business, a creatively oriented business. If you come up to a director and they see you as, hey, this person's really creative. Look at how put together they are. But at the end of the day, the talent will out. You can be looking like a librarian, like David Mullen,
And
like,
20 years
you know,
ago, Maddie was also featured as the top DPs to watch in
Right.
Variety magazine. Yeah.
But like David Mullen comes across like a humble little librarian. But boy, does that guy knows a lot. And he's on every
Michael
board.
Boyd, we talk about that too. Exactly. It's technology, understanding, communication, repeat business. These are all things that we're all looking for.
Yeah.
And I think there's a common thing. Got to be able to hang. I have a very strict no asshole policy, right? So
Yeah,
for me,
Ellen Kuras, that's her rule.
yeah,
No
yeah.
assholes. Yeah.
If I'm picking anybody to be on a crew, they have to be somebody that I want to be with, I want to spend time with, that I am comfortable with. It's such an important thing that you're not an asshole. Virginia, you had something to throw in there.
No, I was just agreeing. We literally say that when we have the first meeting or the first call with our potential client, we tell him or her like we are very strict about it. If you're gonna be a jerk with us, like we're just not gonna work with you again. So it's just as simple as that, really.
And I also do my research. If somebody reaches out to me for representation, I work with some of the smartest people in business. We'll see if they've worked with them in the past or if they've heard anything. I'll also go look to see on IMDb, who do I know that's worked with them, and get my homework from them. Because it's very possible that, I heard just amazing things. Okay, let's change it. Or I've heard enough that there are enough red flags that potentially I'm like, it's just not worth the headache.
What are red flags for you?
You pay, you stay. I thought you pay, you stay. No, it really is. It's just, no jerks, respect, understanding that our job is, agents do so much nowadays. It used to be like, okay, find a script, negotiate. With everything that the last couple of years are, we're absolutely therapists. We're attorneys. We're non-licensed CPAs. Like, we have a lot of hats that we wear, but to me, it's really about wanting to work with people and helping people. We're a resource. I'm an advocate. I think that's a really important term, is advocating for the clients. You hear stuff about people and you hear it third hand. I want to hear it firsthand. So for me, it's however I could fight hardest for my colleagues, my clients. And there are times that I'm not covering a project, but one of my colleagues is doing it. But I have a great relationship with a producer, or the line producer, or executive, and I'll do whatever I can take just to get the client in the room. But life's too short to work with jerks.
And I think sometimes agents, I do feel for you agents, because you guys, I think, do become like the therapists, right? Like you're like agent come therapist sometimes, because
we're fixers, but yeah, absolutely therapists.
Yeah, the DPs sometimes I feel like if they want to like channel their frustration or whatever, and the first person would be the agent. And the second would be
I've been doing this now for like almost 16 years, so agenting has definitely changed, but thankfully I can say nothing surprises me anymore.
Well, we're related to that personality-wise. Like, self-confidence is a great thing, but I get approached by people who are at the beginning of their careers who think that everything they shot should be hanging in the Louvre. Like, every shot is worthy of art wall. And I'm like, you got to be really honest about your own work. You have to be your own harshest critic. And, like, if you ask for feedback from us and we tell you, not quite there yet, don't sulk about it. It's like you want honest feedback. You want people surrounding you who are not yes people, who just say, oh, it's wonderful, and wave the pom-poms and tell you what you want to hear. It's like, you got to be honest. I mean, I've had the greatest cinematographers in history telling me how much they hated this shot or that shot. Gordon Willis hates some of the scenes in The Godfather. I'm like, well, if you hate the Sistine Chapel, I mean, he complained about this one shot that another cinematographer did where Michael Corleone reunites with his wife, Kay, his estranged wife, and they walk and talk, and he says, the guy put a hat on his head, and he looks like he's standing in a ditch because Diane Keaton is 2 inches, 3 inches taller. This is the coming dawn, and he looks like a clown in this little hat, and he was very unhappy about it, and like he was very self-critical about other movies he did. This scene didn't work, that scene didn't work. Bob Richardson, another one, he is his own harshest critic. I thought I was going to have to put him into therapy sometimes, talking about his work, and this work is spectacular, and he says, I suck, I'm the worst. So
that's kind of a common thread right among like all of the greats.
Yeah, like they're very self-critical.
Yeah.
And when you start resting on your laurels, it's over, man. It's like Conrad Hall, all of those guys are like, oh, I really blew that shot. It sucked. I hate myself. If you ever stop thinking like that, you're half done, So
I wholeheartedly believe in that as an artist, you are always self-critical, and if you're not, if you become complacent, then it's time to retire.
Yeah.
If you're starting to each your own. I can't
Well,
come up
you
with
just
it.
you plug in like solution B, solution A from years past, and you're not like still fighting to do things that are new. Like, Connie told me once, like, I went to his apartment to interview him about searching for Bobby Fischer, and I noticed this woman with avocado painting over the fireplace. I'm like, Jesus Christ, is that a real Picasso? And he's like, not being an art guy, he's like, oh, no, that was made for the picture Scrooged by the production design. And when I got fired, they gave it to me as a present. And it was I didn't care that I got fired because I was trying to do something. And I'm like, okay, so from him, I'm like, he got fired, and he was like, I got fired because I was trying to break out of the box, and it might be just a weird Christmas movie, but I was trying to do something with it, When you hear that from him, it's like,
All the best get fired, at least once.
I still want to do an article on getting fired. We've never done that, but
I think that's really important because it happens to everybody.
yeah. What are the protocols of taking overs for somebody?
Taking over, communicating, but also understanding that it happens to everyone, and then you have to move on. And you can't just harp on it, because sometimes people get fired for stuff that they've never even done. Studio is upset with the director. Director's not talking to them. Okay, then we're gonna get rid of this person on your team, and you're like, but guys, I'm a part of it. There's a reason why I'm here, and it just is what it is. But I think that'd be a really good, valuable article to have, actually.
Yeah.
Ironically, I got fired from a job as a cinematographer, and I got pissed off, and I wound up pitching this guy on a story that was 28 years ago. And I have been writing for the magazine ever since. So that was because I got fired.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who knew?
Everybody does now.
Yeah, exactly. So if you get fired off of a job, pitch a story to
why
Steve
not?
Pizzello and see how it goes. There's a couple of common themes, but I want to kind of come back. I always want to talk about reels. We have these conversations on these agent panels that Brian and I have done in the past. I still, as a producer, feel very strongly I believe in reels. I want to see, if I'm looking for new talent, I want to see 20 reels as opposed to trying to go through 20 websites, right? Or, click through all of the work. I want to see the reel first and then look further into the work. But at a certain point, you guys don't do reels for clients anymore, right?
We create reels, actually. We have a great system where we pretty much upload movies, TV pilots, episodes, commercials, music videos, and depending on the specific project that might be pitched, and that goes for my commercial division, my feature division, the episodic television division, narrative division, we will create a reel for our client utilizing what they have, unless if it's such a quick turnover and the client already has the material ready to go, then we'll share that.
Well, also,
but there are also times that I'll use stuff on a reel, or I'll share it specifically that hasn't come out yet. And I will tell the directors and producers, you have this for 24 hours before the password gets changed. Because people like to see stuff that they're not supposed to have. But I think reels are very important. When you watch reels, do you listen to music, or do you make it quiet?
That is the most important.
That's my question to you right now.
Music is important, yeah.
It is, because it can either get you excited or it could actually put you to sleep.
Yeah, I generally do listen to it, even though sometimes I will shut it off. But I also want to know that there's a narrative feel to the reel. Is it just music in the background and just weird shots, or are they telling a story with their images? I want to see that. I want to see how they're building things.
But what's so interesting is reels have changed over time. Like I said in the beginning, we used to do it was a 4-minute montage of different TV shows or films and commercials, music videos, all there. Now it's kind of like, okay, what's the specific project? And maybe that's going to be 60 seconds, 90 seconds specifically.
So you tailor it, right?
Always.
So if you know that the person wants to see narrative, you cut it that way. I did a lot of reels for people achieving lifetime achievements at the ASC Awards. So I've done reels for Deakins, for John Toll, for all these guys. Now you're working with the best material you can possibly get your hands on, granted, but the music is very important. If you're cutting that type of reel, people will use this common available music, and it's and you're cutting to the music. So if you're doing it on your own, find an editor that you think is a really good editor, and they'll do you the solid and cut it, and it's really dynamic if you do it right.
I think it also depends on who's seeing the reel. Is it an up-and-coming director? Is it somebody that's established? Do your homework. To me, it's really who's going to be...
Who's the end
Who am I pitching
viewer,
to,
yeah.
and who... Is it somebody that's been doing this now for 60, 70 years and Does he want like some hip hop in the background? Probably not. Like it really depends. Like to me, it's just that's agenting and continue to agent the people that I'm pitching to.
Yeah, even
it all
pitching to
changes.
Oliver Stone, get the Stones in there, man. Like
100%.
Go for his generation, you know.
No, but it really is. Every pitch is different, and that's what makes my job so fun because it's just not like, oh, here's a list of people. No, I've read the project. I know who's involved. So, hey, do I have anybody that's worked with them before? And or do I have anybody that maybe they haven't been a department out with them, but they were on the crew of a show? Here's somebody, let's connect them together,
what do
and
they
here's,
like,
and here's the updated reel. Because, the images are very important, but as everybody else said, you're spending how many hours with people on set? You got to like each other. You have to trust each other. To me, it's hiring the people that are best at their jobs. Like, you want to surround yourself with smart people. So you trust them, and then with the reel, it's just, to me, it is important. But so are just photos. Right now we use so many stills as well to help people get into the room. Stills, photos. I had a client that just got a job because literally this is an underwater doc specifically, and this was editorial. But this guy was a scuba diver and he was a marine biologist, and there was knowing the client and the project, and I was able to slip them something with something that he actually did personally when he was in Hawaii. Like, you just don't know sometimes.
Yeah.
And you also never know what somebody's going to connect to that's on a resume or on an IMDb. So, somebody's friend worked on that project and then they shared it, and that's somebody that I heard just great things about, but I want to see the material. Like, I do think there's something valuable about Instagram in addition to the reels. Like, you're literally updating reels every day to some extent. It's showing your visual images. It's showing you potentially with your crew or stuff like this, showing that you're in the industry. But to me, it's how do I get to the right people? Because nowadays, it is so. I'm pitching maybe like 8 people, different people that are working on a project. So you're going to the studio, you're going to the line producer, you're going to the PM, you're going to the AD, you're going to the director, you're going to go to the supervisor. Like, I've gotten clients' jobs by going to the production designer, art directors, because they haven't hired the DP yet, and they're on earlier, and this is somebody that they work so well with and collaborate well.
My work's going to look better if I hire the right DP. That's
and somebody that I trust, and that I know that, okay, they're gonna put a light there, we're gonna put a window here, but it's gonna be on a gimbal, and we'll be able to move it around so we're gonna get the shot. That relationship is so important in this industry, and you sometimes you'll see certain DPs and production designers on the same projects over and over and over because of that communication style. Mm-hmm. Also, it happens too if it's the same director over and over, and it just works.
All right, I want to open this up to give you all a chance to ask a question. I will give the caveat, this is not time to pitch your project. This is not the time for ask for representation, but if you have a question for any of the panelists, go ahead and put your paw in the air. But don't everybody jump at once. Yes, please.
What's the most challenging aspect of just your job?
What's been the most challenging aspect of
my job?
Yeah, Brian's job.
And most rewarding?
It's a lot of different personalities. Also the hours. Agents, I think I'm on 4 hours sleep right now, guys. So I hope I sound like I'm communicating okay. The festivals are hard because we're also doing our normal job, trying to get people their work as well while we're at the festivals. Challenging job personalities, but honestly, it's the most rewarding. It's not about getting the biggest project to somebody. It's getting something that's meaningful to them and that you believe in as well. There are or making a no into a yes. We're going with this person. We're going to go with this person. We have to have this person. I'm like, I understand and actually this happened to me with not a DP. This was with somebody becoming a head of it. Head of production for a TV studio. They were out to somebody. And I said, I know you're out to somebody right now, but I got the right person for you that you have to meet with. And then they killed the deal for the other person. They hired my guy. Like, I love making no's into yeses, but it's also just communicating with the clients and finding them the projects that they want to do that could lead to also bigger relationships. And actually, we could even talk about Jimmy Whittaker. Like, Jimmy Whittaker works with Steve Conrad, just finished a series for HBO, and we introduced him to Steve on a pilot. And that led to a very, very interesting, great relationship that also included dealing with directing, working on a stop motion action capture. To me, it's following those relationships and seeing how people continue to grow and seeing the work that they're able to do. Because when you're working with such a caliber of people, and I'm very, very blessed to work with, like I said, some amazing clients, amazing colleagues, that excites me. I love watching my colleagues be successful getting somebody their first movie or their first TV show or their first directing assignment. Firsts are really hard. Nobody wants to be first. Everybody wants to be second. Like, come on. Like, so for me, what's most challenging? my OCD allows me to basically be very responsive. I think anybody here on this panel knows if you email me, if I'm awake, it's going to be responded very quickly because what we do moves very, very, very quickly. So to me, it's really finding a great opportunity. And like I said, it doesn't mean huge budget. It's just something extremely meaningful to somebody that could lead to something great. I'm a storyteller. I want to see great stories being told.
Well,
And
actually,
the commission helps, though.
No, but it all depends. Like one of my clients, she won 2 Emmys, daytime Emmys last year, and I helped find the money for the project, helped get into South by Southwest, and then myself and Submarine, great documentary sales company, we sold it to Netflix, and then it just kept on going and going and going. And it only took one yes, tons of no's. You're all looking for one yes, but if you find something that's meaningful and you got to push it up the river, like you said, that project Clemency, 5 years, you got to love this job for the good and the bad. Like this is a job where there's definitely luck and timing as well.
Somebody, yes, please.
Do you guys have any advice for like students in film school and maybe getting your work in front of other people, or just kind of trying to, I guess, make your way up?
Any advice for students in film school to kind of make your way up and get your work in front of people?
You're here, you're here going to the ASC all the time. You have so many open houses, events, getting to know people and sharing that. The internet, you don't have to send reels like in the mail or messenger. Like you have so much access to so many amazing people right now, and it's just not like, number one, spell their name right, make sure it's going to the right company. That's one big thing right there. But it really is like, you don't understand how much access you have. You probably have great alumni as well. Like I know when I moved out to LA, I reached out to Roy Lee. He's Vertigo Entertainment, Spooky Pictures. He's an alumni of mine. Other agents and stuff. Like I used my circle of people to get my foot in the door because Hollywood actually is very, very small. It's just hard to get into it.
well, the ASC has a lot of events. They have events that you can actually go to physically, and you can meet people. They have mentorship programs. They have master classes.
Yes.
They have all kinds of things for students to be, and they love students. They have events specifically for students, and when you get in there, you can slip them your work or whatever, and or you can send it to us. We do get inundated with a lot of stuff, but if the pitch is right, like that's what we're saying, like refine the pitch. And if it's something interesting, we'll look at it for sure.
I think for students, I just want to add, if you are LA based or anywhere SoCal, they always have events at the clubhouse. You should always try to go to these events. Join the master classes, like he mentioned. Also, find a mentor. That's very, very important. Always find a mentor. Someone that can guide you.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any recommendations for finding mentorship, especially in the more early stages of your career?
Do you have any recommendations for finding a mentor in the early stages of your career?
You should attend as many film festivals as possible, and you will find them here, right? Like, I'm sure, you never know, sometimes, one of those star DPs might show up at these festivals. Like, Lol Crawley was his film, the Oscar-winning DP. His film is here, premiered here yesterday, but he couldn't make it. So, you could have met him at some parties. So, yeah, you just never know. And then there's some up-and-coming DPs that you can make. You can meet them here and make them as a mentor. So.
And you can reach out, even if it can't happen in person, you can reach out to them. And
just
some of
email them.
They will, like Roger Deakins is pretty responsive, honestly. It's
Yeah.
you think he wouldn't be, and he
I'll
is.
say also, I think, just in Instagram and emailing and everything, I think, you can have your kind of traditional mentors, but you can also mentorship can happen in a lot of ways. It doesn't always need to be a very established person and someone bringing someone up. I consider my peers mentors. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's about networking sideways as well. And really, we were talking about this last night, where it's like there's a class and cadre of DP that I'm part of, and for the last 10 years, everywhere I go, it's the same core group of people, and we've all become really close friends, and we can all ask each other questions. You don't need to have necessarily one mentor, but if you see somebody did something interesting that you liked the way somebody shot, a night exterior. You can just say, hey, tell me about that night exterior. And people never get asked about their work. So people are always going to be excited to be like, oh my God, that person noticed and they DM'd me about, you know what I mean? And they'll tell you about it. But it's not, it's not necessarily about finding one mentor, because I think sometimes people find a mentor and they're like, I'm good, I did it. They're gonna guide me.
No, I just also want to add to Eric. Like, I think it's important. Like, just my personal opinion. We also work with other crafts, like not just the DPs as a PR. And we always say this, that the DPs are like the best bunch. Like, you guys are like not jealous of each other, always helpful, very supportive of each other, and great community. So I think it's just not like finding, like what he said, not just one mentor, but like find a few people that can help you and support you and guide you.
And like you said, like, yeah, you could go online and find people, but it's also like you have Cameramage, okay, in Poland, but then you also have the events in LA. Like, you have stuff at next Cinematographers to watch. Like, there's a lot of places. Just Cinegear is a great place. Like,
Yeah,
Cinegear
trade
has
shows.
panels,
Trade shows. Everybody goes to the trade shows.
Absolutely, and people want to talk to you. They'd love to hear from you, and you build a relationship. You keep on seeing each other. You see each other, and then it gets a lot smaller.
So I've written about this multiple times, and I have a lot of very strong opinions on mentorship. The first thing is, you can never ask somebody to be your mentor, just right off the bat. Don't go up and meet Eric and be like, will you be my mentor? That shit's never going to fly. But if you reach out to him on Instagram and say, hey, I just saw this thing that you did, like you said, and I love that thing, you start a connection. If he is open to a relationship and into a mentorship, he'll respond. If he's not open, he's not going to respond, and that's
It's
not
like
somebody you're ever going to
dating.
get. Yes,
like
it is a lot
dating.
like dating.
But he also may be on a job, and
Well-
he'll respond a month later. So
I will say this, which I don't think people bring up often. If someone asks me a question and I respond, people often don't respond back. So, or like, I will, I'll say, yeah, do this. This is how I did it. When you're done, send me the cut. I want to see it. You know what I mean? I want to see how you did. And people almost never, ever follow up. So I think
and
that's...
say thank you. Your parents had to raise you right. Just say thank you. I appreciate the time, because we're also
Well, it's
busy.
not the time. Like,
Yeah.
I get gratification from seeing people succeed. So if you reach out to me and you're like, hey, how'd you do this thing? And I tell you, and then you go do it, I want to see that. It's going to make me happy to see somebody doing good work and succeeding.
Well, yeah, speaking to the second part of her question, from my perspective, the what's the most rewarding for us, the best part of my job, honestly, is you meet somebody, you think they have promise, and then you see them go all the way up the ladder, and suddenly they're standing up to getting an Academy Award or something. There's nothing better. And if you've helped them at a certain point along the way, it feels like you won. You know?
So Eric is addressing the point. It becomes a relationship, right? It becomes a give and take. Every lecture I ever give, every class I ever teach, at the end of it, I give my contact information and I give the students the opportunity. I say, reach out to me for anything. If it's what I've covered today or anything in your career, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. I get maybe 1% who ever follows up on that. And the people who do are the ones that get my attention. Like, okay, you're actually interested and you're actually putting yourself forward, and now you've got my attention. If you can ask intelligent questions, if you can be respectful, if you're not a pain in the ass, if I like you, then I might offer to be of assistance.
Yeah, like a connector, because,
Anybody else? We've got time for one more. And thank you. Can you repeat that? I did.
if you're not living in the U.S., if you're a DP who lives abroad somewhere, and you want to break in to the U.S., well, there are events over there too. Like Cameramage is an important one for you guys. If you're anywhere near there, I would strongly encourage you to get into that festival, because you'll get FaceTime like you wouldn't believe. So like the events they have there, a lot of our people will go to those events, and you can meet them that way. What's been your experience with overseas?
Online unites the world, right? And Steve mentioned Instagram, the power of that platform to be able to show your work and reach out to other people. I think that's the greatest tool that we have to connect no matter where you are.
If I could,
please.
So I work at a company called Worldwide Production. We work worldwide. And if you go and see what's been doing very well episodically, you have shows like Adolescence. You have a lot of very interesting international material that will cross over to the United States, and that could allow you then to get the work visa, come work, either relocate or come back and forth. But honestly, right now, you should be looking for wherever the most interesting project is. It doesn't actually mean that it's going to be shooting in Atlanta.
Yeah, because almost nothing is right now.
Do you advise
Wow,
for
dude,
American
that would
TVs?
dark. That would fucking dark.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I'm optimistic. I think 2026 could be an awesome year. Like, and you're like, Urgh.
Well, I'm the old curmudgeon. You know that, man. I'm the yeah. Anyway, thank you, everybody.
That was a great way to finish.
Thank you.
We're gonna end it on a really positive note. Brian, Ranjinder, Steve, Eric, on behalf of American Cinematographer and Canon, thank you all for being here. We appreciate it.